Hi everyone, thanks for watching this video. Today's class is to demonstrate the process of creating and going through a simple workflow. The example I use today is related to sales order. You can look here. This is a pretty simple workflow. So in this workflow, you can add a sales order and send it to your superior. So your superior can review the sales order and then he can reject or approve this application. And if he rejects the application, it will go back to you again, and then you can change it and submit it again. And then when he finally approves it, the workflow ends. So the workflow is like that. So before we go into the creation of the workflow, what we need to do is to log into SuperOS platform. And inside the design center, you see, when you add a sales order and after your superior approves the sales order, you would want the newly added data to be stored in your SuperOS database, right? So before that, what we need to do is to create a template to store those data. What I have created is a form template named sales order, because a sales order data, they are obviously related, like a relational database. So that's more likely to use a form template to store them. So sales order. And inside this template, I have added 6 attributes because they are all like highly related to a sales order, like basic information of a sales order. We have created a template to store those data. So what I can do now is to go to Business Designer and to create this workflow. Just here. And here in Workflow Management, this is sales, the workflow I have created. If you don't have anything, you can just click New and enter the name of the workflow, then confirm. Then you will enter this page, this editing page. So to make it more clear, let me upgrade it. So now, as you can see, it's a pretty simple workflow. You know, normally other workflows would have much more steps. Anyway, so after start, there would be a user task, which is to add a sales order. And so we need to configure its basic information. That includes step name, add a sales order. You can make it something else, but just make sure it actually indicates the exact meaning of this task. Add a sales order. And the node type would be user task. There are other kind of tasks, and for their meaning, you can go to our official site and under doc using SuperOS application development, workflow design, workflow creation, and inside this guide you can see the meaning of all those parameters. Okay, go back. And here page, this page means that when you reach this step, this page will be displayed. So now you don't have any pages because you haven't created yet. So let's just skip that for now, and later I will show you how to do this. And then executor. Because I will only tell you the necessary steps, and for other parameters and steps, you can just check it on our official site. Thanks. And then click config, and I make the executor of this task to the initiator so that I will be the one to initiate the workflow. It's just for easy operation. And so after that, the workflow goes to the next user task, which is to review the sales order. So also the same configuration, name, and node type, and page. So this page would be the same as the first task because you would see the exact same content, right? And then executor config. So normally the reviewer would be your superior or superior's superior, but for today's example, to make it simple, I will just make it to an initiator, which is me again, so that I can see through the whole process, right? Okay, okay, later. Then this service. So after I have approved this application, I would want to store those data to my database, right? That's why I need this service. So you don't have this service yet. I will go back to create that service. And then this workflow here, if you want to reject it, you will need to click this icon to add another line here, and then enable this reject line to make it to a reject line. And then after you add a reject line in this workflow, you would have to add a step name for each and every line in this workflow, like this. See? Okay, so that's the creation of the workflow. Now what we need to do is to go back and create the page for adding a sales order and the service to update the data to SuperOS database, right? Okay, let's go to interface design to create the add order page. Now you can see that I have created it, and you can just do almost the same as it, because you see here, the ID, salesman, all those items correspond to the attributes of my form template, the sales order template. See here, let me show you. Here. See, these four, right? And let's double click it and get inside. This property. See this component name, make them the same as the alias of your attributes in your template, so that the platform can recognize them and match them together, so the data can be updated correctly. And just all those. See here, I have added 2 buttons here, but they are not necessary for this workflow, so you can just skip that. And then save it. So now we have done this page, and we need another page to initiate the workflow. So it looks like this. On this page, you need to add a button to pop up the add order page. And then you need to add a to-do list here to get all the information of this workflow, to connect it to the workflow. And on the add order button, you need to attach the workflow to this button. So inside, just click here, sales, find the workflow. Remember, if you didn't check the enabling workflow option when creating the page, there would be no workflow. Okay, finish. And then what we need to do is to add a service for approving the application and save the approved data to SuperOS database. So under Object Model Management, the same template sales order inside service. So this sales 3 is a service I added. Check inside, name, alias, and here I added 2 input parameters. There are more you can use to customize your own workflow, which is in our official site under API, workflow script here, audit data, flow data. These are the parameters you can configure, and I only use this one today. So back here, that's data and audit data, and make the output type to JSON. In the script here, as you can see, this is the script I write to save the approved data to database, and you can directly copy this script from our official site here under local development sales order approval workflow demo. And here, this is the script you can use. First 2 are converting the input data to JSON, and it will be automatically received from the previous step in our workflow. And these are just for deleting automatically generated fields that we don't need. Here I added a condition to the reject field in audit data to only save the approved data to database. And here, add data table entry. This is an embedded service that we can directly call in this platform. And this is just for printing the result. Okay, let's try debug here. So the data format, you can also check it here. Let's see. It will look like this. So I have already used it before, so I just check. Let's make it to false, so the data will be saved to our database as an object instance under the template sales order. Execute. Success. Okay, now let's go back, see if the instance is updated here, right? Go to Business Designer and add the service and the page to our workflow. So inside the workflow, just delete it. Here, and this page, add it here. Select the page, confirm, and here, page, confirm, and this is service. Find the service. The form template, sales order, here. Okay, and then publish it. So now this workflow is completed, and what we can do now is to check whether the workflow works correctly. So under interface design, find the initiate workflow page, and here click preview, and then let's add an order. Let's make it today amount like that, then submit. Okay, my to-do added from 8 to 9. Now we need to review the sales order and make it run, then click reject to see if it's not saved to the platform. So let's go here and here. See, nothing was added. Then try the next one, which is changing the sales order and send the application again. Make it to 2. Now this time we need to approve it and check whether the data was added to the platform as an object instance. Okay, see, okay, approved. See, to-do list has 1 down. Let's go to instance and check. Here, it's added. So till now we have finished the whole process of create a workflow and go through the workflow.